point of this informative speech is to teach you a little bit about how to become an Eagle Scout and some of the things about Boy Scouts that you might not know. So many of you may know a lot about Boy Scouts, or you may know very little. You may know some Boy Scouts, you may not know other Boy Scouts, but I'm sure some of you, or all of you, have at least heard of Boy Scouts. So starting off with some famous Boy Scouts that you probably do know, Buzz Aldrin, Lance Armstrong, two first men on the moon. You should probably know that. 57% of all astronauts are actually Boy Scouts. So that's a little fun fact. Might need that for trivia night. So that is an impressive number and obviously above average. And some very desirable thing about Boy Scouts is the amount of presidents that have been part of Boy Scouts. 4 presidents have been part of Boy Scouts. A Clinton, a Bush, a Kennedy, and a Ford, who was actually an Eagle Scout. And another couple famous Boy Scouts that I'm sure you know are Steven Spielberg. You may not know his name, but you know Jaws, you know E.T., classics, and you also know Walmart, started by Sam Walton, a Christian, also Eagle Scout. So both of those are Eagle Scout, not just Boy Scouts. So just about Boy Scouts, it was started in 1907 by a British general. He also founded Girl Scouts, by the way. So he started it to try to kind of train young men for war. And he kind of, as a type of anticipation for another war, since a lot of people kind of saw it coming before it happened. He kind of saw it coming, and he started this organization. And many of the uniforms for Boy Scouts are actually very reminiscent of uniforms of the time. And you get to learn how to march in place. You get I once retired a flag at the Army War College. You have to do a lot of these things that you might have to do in an army situation. Also, people are like, oh, Boy Scouts are the greatest knot tires in the world. Well, so were armies back then. We're also the greatest knot tires in the world, and that's we kind of held on to that as a part of Boy Scouts, even if it's probably still taught, but not as heavily taught, since we have modern equipment now. So, moving on, there's also the fact that Boy Scouts also teaches a lot of leadership skills, and that is useful in a warlike scenario, since obviously between World War I and World War II, almost an entire generation kind of went missing, and you probably couldn't get them back into the war the next time. So you needed experienced people to kind of lead, and you needed the young men to step up. So one way to do that was to teach those skills early on in a kind of fun environment. So just to teach you how to become an Eagle Scout, you start off at the age of 12, and you start off as a tenderfoot. So you go from tenderfoot, and you have to do maybe 8 campouts. 8 campouts, some knots, all the great stuff. Square knot, great freight knot. Everyone should know the square knot. So you move on. You go to 2nd class. Then you go to 1st class, which obviously, why is the 2nd class to 1st class? Who knows? It's a mystery lost to the world. So 1st class to life, then to star, then to Eagle. And Eagle is obviously the one you want to get to, but there's a lot of stuff you need to do before that. You have to complete 21 merit badges, which is a pain. And it's 11 required merit badges, which go from cooking, first aid, swimming, and non-required ones are more stuff like rifling, shotgun shooting, fingerprinting, which is a great one. So after you completed all that, it's finally time to do your Eagle Project, which is a community service that you must do. It has to be for some type of person in your community, or a group more such as a church, because lots of churches house Boy Scouts. They're usually done for a church, in my experience. So what you would do is you need to first create an outline. The outline needs to get approved by the people in charge of the Boy Scouts in your area. Then your plan needs to get approved. Then you have to do it. So you do it. You have to create a book that kind of lays out what happened during it. Then you have to get the book approved, and then you have to go. You have to get the book looked at while you're sitting there, and everything you've ever done in Boy Scouts. It gets scrutinized, and they determine whether or not you're good enough. And the whole Boy Scout process takes hundreds of hours, and the Eagle Project alone took me about 60. Only 4% of Boy Scouts actually become Eagle Scouts, which is why some may look at it with a bit of respect that you may not get for just being a Boy Scout. This, I hope, explains some of the reasons why people think it's so important, and you may not think that, but you may now know a little bit more about Boy Scouts, so when someone says it, you won't be as ill-informed as you were to start with. Thank you.